Hello and welcome to our App Smashing and Chrome Smashing webinar. I am Mark Oakton, a coordinator with the Curriculum and Professional Development Division. There's my contact information on the screen for you to see. Today we're going to talk about the smashing or combining of apps in both the iPad and the Chrome environment. I hope that you find today informative and helpful for your efforts to integrate technology and to blend instruction. In order to get credit in Pathor for attending this webinar, there are a couple of things that you must do. First, you have to view the entire webinar. Now, because I do have the webinar, if you're viewing it in the Google Classroom, playing back through Edpuzzle, you are unable to fast forward through it, which helps us to make sure that you viewed the entire webinar. Second, you must answer the questions that pop up throughout the presentation. And finally, please make sure that you complete the exit survey, which will become available at the conclusion of the webinar. Attendance will be recorded in Pathor in the near future. Please email me if you have any questions about this. So what is app smashing? It is, according to Greg Kulowich, who first coined the phrase app smashing, the process of using multiple apps in conjunction with one another to complete a final task or project. In other words, app smashing is the process of using multiple apps to create projects or complete tasks. App smashing can provide your students with creative and inspired ways to showcase their learning and allow you to assess their understanding and skills. Another one of the people that I follow online, Richard Wells, says that content created in one app transferred to and enhanced by a second apps and sometimes third. Preferably the final product is then published to the web, and that's his explanation of app smashing. Naomi Harm says that app smashing is a lot like baking. The blended of two or more digital media types to create extraordinary learning artifacts. And so the question is, why app smash? I'm going back to Richard Wells from EdTech Teacher. He gives us 6 reasons to app smash. And the first reason is that app smashing demands creative thinking. Second, it demands more from the technology. In other words, as we talk about return on investment, bang for your buck, it has more value for the money. App smashing turns the issue of not having that wonder app that will solve all of your problems into a positive. Fourth, it removes any restrictions to take a topic as far as it can be taken. Fifth, it often results in more engaging learning products. And finally, app smashing is a fun challenge for our digital natives. When we talk about the 4 C's of 21st century learning, app smashing really helps us app smashing helps our students to access and demonstrate these 4 C's. When we talk about communication, we're talking about sharing thoughts, questions, ideas, and solutions. In this age of technology, communication has become simpler and more difficult. Technology has provided us with more and even more convenient ways to communicate, but sometimes these various ways can become overwhelming. Furthermore, that communication can become more about the technology being used than about the message that one is trying to send. Without effective communication, there's really no way to get anything done inside the classroom or anywhere else for that matter. And this is why this is such an essential 21st century skill. When we're talking about collaboration, we're talking about working together to reach a goal and putting talent, expertise, and intelligence to work. Just like with communication, the tech has made collaboration easier. Actually, I'd say that technology takes collaboration a step farther, making possible types of collaboration that were not possible before we had the technology. However, just like with communication, the same breakdowns can happen. The number of choices can become overwhelming, and the actual collaboration can get lost if we're paying too much attention to the tool that is being used to collaborate. As the world becomes more and more interconnected, collaboration becomes an even more essential skill than it already is, which is why it is, I think, at the top of the list of the 21st century skills. When we're talking about critical thinking, we're talking about how students can look at problems in a new way, how they can link learning across subjects and across disciplines. Just like with communication and collaboration, critical thinking has been an essential skill in every century and profession. However, I think that technology has changed the critical thinking platform. The more that we see technology make menial tasks such as memorization null and void, the more room that it gives us to spend time on more complex thinking skills. Think about it. Those factory jobs that our parents and grandparents worked in for their entire life, their entire career, those don't exist anymore. The factories have become automated. We don't have somebody that's standing on an assembly line, making a good wage, doing the same action repeatedly. That's not what employers want anymore. Okay, so we have to instead. The jobs require much more critical thinking now. Sometimes we think that we can let the technology do the thinking for us, or at least we think that it thinks wow, that's rather confusing. Or at least we think that it's thinking, but it's not. Remember that no matter how high tech the machine is, it is useless without a person telling it what to do, and then thinking critically about the results. And finally, creativity. Creativity is trying new approaches to get things done. It's being innovative and inventive. The 21st century is an amazing time. It's a lot of fun to be creative thanks to the technology. We still have the traditional ways, the music and the art, and I know those are, I very much, as somebody who is not artistic or musical, I really do have a high level of appreciation and respect for those people who are, because I think that's absolutely amazing. But now with the technology, we have new ways that are available for us to be creative. Instead of just painting a picture, you can animate something or arrange a piece of music on a computer, even if you don't know how to play an instrument. With all that said, it is still up to you to put things through the creative process. Now, I should say it's up to you to help your students put things through the creative process. Whether you're going to have your students tell the world's next best-selling story, or they're simply trying to work on organization, they have to use their own thinking power and the available technology to get a creative project done. If we look at the Sandler model, app smashing allows for students to reach that highest level, that redefinition, as they create new products that were previously inconceivable, and then publish them for the world. So often with technology use, we get stuck in that substitution of tech integration, and sometimes we struggle with trying to figure out how we can get beyond that. To me, the answer is through app smashing. That's going to take us into where our students can be transformative in their learning and their thinking. App smashing allows students to demonstrate their understanding, showing what they know. It allows them to reflect on a process, to develop ownership of that learning process, to increase their technology fluency while creating an artifact that was previously inconceivable. And I just love that word, inconceivable. It takes me back to maybe my days of watching Princess Bride in my childhood. Now, if we look at the other matrix for technology integration, which is actually called the Technology Integration Matrix, which was developed by the University of South Florida and the University of Northern Arizona, or Northern Arizona University, app smashing allows for students to move further to the right to reach that highest level again of transformation. As students are innovative in their use of technology tools to facilitate higher order learning activities that may not have been possible without the use of technology. So now I'm going to repeat myself. App smashing allows students to demonstrate their understanding, showing what they know, to reflect on a process, to develop ownership of that learning process, and to increase their technology fluency while creating learning artifacts. Now, I know this is going to sound kind of odd, but app smashing is not really about the apps. It's about developing information literacy and digital fluency, or the ability to learn. Why? Here's the bottom line. 65% of students that are in grade school today will end up in jobs that have not yet been created. And that's according to the United States Department of Labor. It is not about the apps that the students are using. It's about the ability to look at a task, determine the outcome that they want to achieve, and to use multiple tools in order to create that outcome. It's about this $500 billion opportunity that our students have, with 1 million unfilled programming jobs estimated by the Bureau of Labor Statistics in just a few years. They estimate that we're going to have 400,000 computer science grads, but need another million grads just to fill those jobs. And so these 21st century skills are so important. And that's why, I think that as a vehicle for helping students to get those 21st century skills, teaching them how to think critically, how to problem solve or be creative, how to communicate and collaborate, that is all wrapped up in this idea of app smashing. In addition, a key element to getting students to these higher levels is through student choice. We get to teach a few tools to students and then give them a task and allow them to problem solve how they're going to reach that task. Obviously, there's going to need to be some gradual release, and we can coach students through the process and provide them with ideas. However, we want them to be creative in how they demonstrate their learning, and that's by letting go a little bit and allowing them to have some choice. So app smashing, we're going to talk about app smashing in the iPad environment and app smashing in the Chrome environment. With app smashing, and I'm going to do some app shares on the iPad and in the Chrome environment. The essential one of these is the camera roll. Everything is either pushed to the camera roll or pulled from the camera roll. So think of that camera roll as the hub. So these are the tools that students can use. Remember, it's all about the workflow that your students create and how they're able to demonstrate their learning. So some of the apps that I have shown up here, we have Telegami, Toontastic, and Sock Puppets to create primary or secondary video clips. Same thing with Adobe Voice, can create secondary video clips. We can use the Canva or PicCollage or Comic Heads to generate backdrops. That camera roll again is for file storage. We can use Explain Everything or Doceri to blend elements. We can use the green screen also to blend different elements. The iMovie is essential on the iPad because that allows us to fine-tune what we've created in other areas. You can use YouTube or Vimeo to publish for the world. We can use ThingLink or Erasmus or Padlet or Book Creator to allow others to access the content that has been created for the publishing. Book Creator can export files as a recording that contains the fully embedded videos, which is, to me, super cool. So I'm going to look just at a few of these apps today and share those with you. Okay, so we're going to look at how that's done on the iPad. We're going to use several different apps today, up to 11 maybe. I'm going to use the camera roll as the place to push and pull images and videos to and from, or as my hub. And then I'll use some of these, maybe not all of them, Telegami, Toontastic 3D, Adobe Spark Video, and Book Creator to create videos. I'll use iMovie to trim videos, and Green Screen to combine different videos. I probably won't demonstrate YouTube, but you can use YouTube to add an already created video that demonstrates an important concept. I might embed that in there. We'll see if we get time. I can use Safari to add an image to serve as the background for my final artifact, and ThingLink as a place for me to display my learning, or the final artifact that I would submit as a student. And for purposes of the demonstration today, I'm going to use my own content as an English teacher and look up and talk about the concept of what is a hero. And so my first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use Safari to find an image for my summative artifact. So now I'm using Safari on my iPad, and the first thing I need to do is find that image. So I'm going to look for an image of Superman. I'm going to take this image, and I like this one, and I'm going to save it to my camera roll, and I'm going to use that a little bit later on, which is just using the internet to find an image. For my second app, I'm going to use Sock Puppets. And it's not one that I talked about, but as I was looking at my apps, I don't want it to show my notifications. As I was looking at my list of apps, I thought, oh, Sock Puppets would work really well. Okay, so I'm going to create a new Sock Puppet. And I'm not concerned about farm puppets. I want, let's see, just a couple of characters will do. Okay, and my background, let's see, the one that would be most appropriate, I think, will be outer space. I like that idea of using outer space as my background. Any props that I need while I'm recording, I think I'll use the microphone. Yeah, and it sets up my setting. It asks me if I would like Sock Puppets to access the microphone. That's vital. I have to allow it to use the microphone. Otherwise, I won't record anything. Now I had to adjust my iPad and adjust the recording screen to landscape because of this you can see so much more of it using landscape. All right, I'm going to resize my characters because I want to have them fitting in the immensity of space here, and I want my microphone front and center here. Okay, so I'm going to have my characters right there surrounding the microphone. Now we're talking about what is a hero, and so I'm going to maybe introduce the concept of a hero. So I'm going to hit the record button, and it is now recording. Hey everybody, we're here talking about a hero. What do you think a hero is? Sally asks. And Bob says, you know what, I really don't know what a hero is, but I think that they always wear capes and spandex. Jimmy says, no, that's not right. There are much more important qualities of a hero than capes and spandex, and so let's talk about the archetypal traits. Or I should say, wow, I messed up already, the traits of the archetypal hero. Woohoo, I'm so excited. Alright, scrubbing my voice into the video, keeping my socks on, and it's going to have my video clip there.
Button, and it is now recording. Hey everybody, we're here talking about a hero. What do you think a hero is? Sally asks.
And I love how it changes
Bob
my voice.
Says, you know what, I really don't know what a hero is, but I think that they always wear capes and spandex. Jimmy says, no, that's not right. There are much more important qualities of a hero than capes and spandex, and so let's talk about the archetypal traits. Or I should say, wow, I messed up already, the traits of the archetypal hero. Woohoo, I'm so excited.
And that is the start of my video. Okay, so now I can hit the save button. Okay, so now that I've saved my video, the next step is to share it. I'm going to click on settings. I'm going to keep the normal settings. I'm going to click on share, and it will encode it to share. And after it gets it all ready to share, then I can use it in my camera roll for my project. Now I'm going to click on the save video, and it will add it to my photos. And so I keep calling the photos the camera roll. I can't get away from that. So now if I go to my Photos app, I will find today's video there. So I can use that in a minute. Alrighty. So that's the first app. Now let's see, I want to use another one. I'm going to use Adobe Spark. Okay, so I've had to flip my iPad back to portrait orientation. I'm in Adobe Spark Video. I'm going to sign in with my Google account. That's one of the neat things about Adobe Spark Video is it works with online on the web, and it works on an iPad. And so anything you do on the iPad can be found online on your web. Okay, I got it. My videos are available everywhere. Alright. Now I can look at my videos, or I can add a video. So I'm going to hit the plus sign and add a video. Okay, my story. Let's see, I'm going to name it Archetypal Heroes. Let's see, do I want to promote an idea, tell what happened? Oh, a hero's journey. Wow. How amazing is that that actually has a template for this. So I'm going to pick this one without a doubt. Okay. So now I'm going to have choice of layout. I can have full screen, split screen, caption, titles. I'm going to just keep it as it is. Themes. This is where I can personalize a little bit. I love green. It's as close of a color as we get to camouflage. So I'm going to check the mega theme. Alrighty. And music. Let's see about the music. I can choose music. I'd probably do this after the fact because music should be picked on the back end. Alright. So I've got that. Now I need to add, I click on the plus sign in the middle of the screen, I get to add a video, a text, a photo, or an icon. I'm going to pick an icon. And I'm going to put in the word hero, see what comes up. Awesome. I've got some great images there that I can use. I'm going to pick something pretty generic with this hero. Oh, I don't really like how that looks on the green background. Let's see. How about this one? Oh, that's much better. So a hero. Now I get to hold down the mic button on the iPad while I record. Give Spark Video access to my microphone. This presentation will show Oh, that really stunk. I don't want that. I'm going to hold to re-record this. These are the traits of the archetypal hero. Woohoo, this is super exciting. I hope you're all excited as I am. I can preview it to listen to it. These are the traits of the archetypal. I know it's awesome because I'm talking. There we go. Okay, so I go through my traits. I'm going to add some text now here. And I'll add my first trait of unusual birth. Awesome. Oh, I can drag and drop text and move it to a different position. Oh, that's amazing. Click the plus sign here because I want a photo or video. And so I'm going to then record myself talking about unusual birth. And I need an icon. How about, I have to click back. My weapon, I'm a little concerned about what this might bring up, but they have a special weapon, so that might not bring anything up that I want. Oh, that's definitely not what I want. I'm going to try for sword. Okay, that's a little bit more, not quite as dangerous. So I'm going to have the sword and the stone here. How appropriate as we're talking about heroes. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to put in my images for all of my files, all my all the traits that I want to discuss. At least all 8 that I typically would talk about in teaching this concept. And I would record a little blurb for each one, under 10 seconds to explain it. All right. Now I'm going to add my music. Let's see, the old country accordion. Probably isn't what I want. Medieval times. That's a little bit too calm and thoughtful. Let's see. These are all pretty. Oh, there we go. Relaxed, playful, happy. They're all nice and happy. Oh wait, here we go. Some rousing. That's probably better. There's some music that's more appropriate to my concept. Okay. Now I'm all done. I want to save it to the camera roll. I give Spark Video access to my photos, and it tells me how amazing it looks and saves it to the camera roll. Obviously I have an incomplete presentation. I'm just showing you how I'd go about doing it. Now I didn't show you with the Spark Video. I can also bring in video I have from elsewhere, and so that's one way we can smash it. We can bring in video or images that I've taken. So you're using the camera app. And bring those in, and so you can smash that way. Okay, so successful. All right, and I'll rate that later. Okay, so that's my second app is using Adobe Spark Video, which is super easy to use. Okay, so the next thing that I need, because I'm going to talk about some of the heroes that we've studied in literature, I need some images of those heroes. So I'm looked here for Gilgamesh. I'm going to find an image that I want to use. Because we're talking about the ancient Sumerian legend, I will simply save that image to my camera roll. And let's see, we've talked about the Odyssey, so I'm going to look up Odysseus and find some images that I would like to add. I'll go with that one. We've got excerpts from the Ramayana. Okay, so I'm looking for that image of Rama. I like that one. That's one I would like to use. I'm going to save that image of him. Okay, so I've got a couple of images that I want to use. Perfect. Alrighty, so now I go into my book creator app. I'm going to create a new book. I'm going to set I'm going to use the comic format for this one, actually. No, I'll use the portrait format here. It's opening up my new book. I'm going to start off with a title page, so I'm going to use some text and heroes that we have studied. Type that in there. Change the formatting a little bit to a larger font, not that large. Change the background. Have some extra spaces in here so I can change the format, the size of it. I can move it here. I want to be a little bit wider. Okay, so that's going to be my cover page. It's okay that I have my box, the text box, larger than the page. That's not going to matter. Maybe I want shadow on it. Yeah, that makes it look a little nicer. Might want to change the font of it to something a little bit more heroic. Increase the size just a little bit. Perfect. Alrighty, that's going to take me to my next page. And in this page I'm going to throw in those images that I just picked up off the internet. So I'm going to go to my photos and look at some of these photos really fast. Let's bring in Gilgamesh. And let's add Odysseus. And we'll add Rama. And I'm going to go back and cite where I got these from because that's only appropriate to do. And I can pull back up, I have those web pages open still that I can go back and find them and pull the URL so I can cite my web pages. And I would obviously want to check and make sure that these images were acceptable under Creative Commons, that they were not copyrighted images. I didn't do that just for demonstration purposes, but I would definitely want to make sure and use images that are not copyrighted. Okay. Now I can do something really cool here. I can add sound, and I can record myself talking about how Gilgamesh is a hero and how Odysseus is a hero, and on the next page how Rama is a hero. And so I'm going to start recording, and now it's recording and I'm explaining everything I know about Gilgamesh and how it fits the 8 characteristics of the archetypal hero. And then I go to Odysseus and talk about how he fits those characteristics of an archetypal hero, and it records those. I go to the next page and I can now record how Rama and explain how Rama fits the characteristics of an archetypal hero, and it puts these all into the book format, and it's amazing how it does that. And do I want to use that recording? Whoops, and I didn't use the last one because I just left the page. So now I'm going to go back here. I'm going to record this one. You want to make sure you stop the recording instead of just leaving the page like I did in my exuberance. Okay, I'm explaining how Gilgamesh and how Odysseus fit the characteristics of the archetypal hero, and I'm going to record that. And stop recording. Yes, I want to use that recording. We are good to go. And that's embedded in there. Okay, so I have my recordings and my images. Alright, now I can play it back. So now I go back into my book and I can hit the play button for my cover, and it's going to go through the books and it's going to read it to me.
Heroes that we have studied.
I'm going to record this one. You want to make sure you stop the recording instead of just leaving the page like I did in my exuberance. Notice it was reading the book, you picked up the iPad reading the book. Okay, I'm explaining how Gilgamesh and how Odysseus. Alright, now I'm going to stop. I'm going to say done because I'm done for right now. So I'm going to go to My Books here, and back in My Books I want to click that upload button because I want to export this as a video. So I'm actually using Book Creator to create a video, and I'm going to save that video onto my iPad. And so it exports that, and I've now saved this video, create this video that I created using Book Creator of all places, which is pretty cool to me. How Toontastic 3D can be used also to create a video that you can then blend together using green screen. So I'm going to create a new video here, and it's going to ask me to create I just want actually one part story, so I'm going to just use the 3 part because it's the shortest, and then I'm going to start at the beginning, create a beginning scene. Now you can hear the directions. What I'm going to do, instead of using one of their backgrounds, I'm going to draw my own. So what I'm going to do is choose a color for my green screen. Let's see, I didn't really like. I'll select that color and use the paint bucket to just create that color. And that's all I want, is that straight green background. And I'm just going to name it green screen. Awesome. Okay, now I need to pick a character. Now I can use a character like this individual here named Twisty, but the problem is that with my green screen, he's got some that greenish shirt. I guess maybe it'd be teal. Okay, so I want to make sure I pick characters that don't have any green on them at all. You know, this, let's see, Maggie Meteorite would be fun because it would make it so her hair was transparent. So I'm going to pick, maybe, let's see if I can find somebody who's looking very heroic with no green. The Clean Bee is looking heroic and has no green. How about, let's see, Krubby the Crab. And now I'm going to position them on the page where I want and say start my scene, and counts down 3, 2, 1 already, and we're going to demonstrate. It's recording right now. It's going to only record. I can see the progress of my recording. I'm going to demonstrate how an archetypal hero overcomes evil, and she flaps her way around and destroys Krubby, yada yada yada, sending him back to the underworld where he belongs, and then shrinks back to her normal size and demonstrates her flying powers. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, that's kind of poor quality videos we don't really want to get, but just for fun right now. Okay, it's recorded the video. It's going to play it back. It's recording right now. It's going to only record. I can see the progress of my recording. I'm going to demonstrate how I can put music in there if I want. I'm going to put no music in for right now. Okay, I'm going to use that green screen. I'm going to click the check mark because I'm done. And I'm going to finish it because I don't want parts 2 and 3 in it. And Hero Practice is the name that I'll give to it. And check it off. And we're going to demonstrate. Close it down now. I want to export it and save this to my library because I'm going to be using it in a few minutes in my final project. Now I'm going to go to my next app, which is the DoInk green screen app, and I'm going to create a new project. So I click the plus sign in the upper right hand corner to create a new project. It asks me for rights to access the microphone. I definitely want that, and the camera. Okay. Now my first layer here, I want to select a video that I already have. Give it access to my photos. I'm going to give it access to the Hero Practice video, and I'm going to use that. Okay, now I can see that video. If I scrub through it, you'll see that all that green has disappeared. It's now just on top of a black background. Okay, so now I need to put another background. And I'm going to use another image that I have. I'm going to use this castle as the background image. Now notice I've got these characters in front of this castle, and so they're fighting in front of the castle, which makes it a little bit more compelling. And so I can combine those multiple elements like that. Now I could bring in another video as the background. I don't want that one, there's too much green in it. Maybe I want this one. Yes, although I have a green character, so that's going to look kind of funky. Watch as I scroll through it. It turned that green character black. That's okay. Okay, the types of things we learn with, so I can have two different things going on at the same time. Watch what happens when I play it. Let's see. And we're going to demonstrate. It's recording right now. It's going to only record. I can see the progress of my recording. I'm going to demonstrate how an archetypal hero. So obviously I'd want to coordinate the timing a little bit, as I had two different videos that are seemingly could be interacting. Okay, and I wouldn't want to have the green sock because I'm using the green screen app. Okay, so they can work together and you combine those elements from different apps, and I think that's super cool. So that's just fun. Alright, so I'm going to stick with that. And obviously I'd spend more time making sure my content matched and everything else. Maybe I want to move this video a little bit. I don't quite like where that video was. I would want to import it. When I import, wherever this timeline is at, the red bar that you see up and down, is where the video will start. So I should have been more careful of that when I brought it in, just to make the timing work, but that's fine. I'm going to click on save now because I want to save it. And it's exporting my project. I've saved it. That I've exported, I want to definitely save it to the camera roll. And it was successfully saved to the camera roll. I am all set there. Okay, so now I've created a whole bunch of little videos that I want to use, and I want to put them into one final product. And so I'm going to use iMovie for that, to trim my videos and add any features like titles or headings or captions, anything like that I want to add. I'm going to use iMovie. Now I don't want to use the trailer for my new project. I want to just create a video that says combine videos, photos, and music to make your own movie. So there's no template involved, which is what I really want. So I'm going to click on a couple of videos that I want to use. I'm going to select those and click on create movie at the bottom here. It's going to create my movie and automatically brings those in. Okay, now I see here that I have some editing that needs done. When I created this video in Toontastic, and it had some extra things that I don't really want in it. So I'm going to split this. Now I put this timeline right at the spot that I want to split, and I tap on the screen, and it gives me some options here. And if I click on the actions option here, I can split that. And so I can split the screen, and to get rid of that, I just highlight it, hold on to it, and drag it up and throw it into the air, and you notice that little cloud as it poofs away. And I can go here to the end, because there's some right there. I want to split that. I'm going to click on it and split it again, and I can throw that section away. One of the nice things you notice is that it automatically fills in the gap. So I have the first section here, which is explaining what a hero is, possibly. My second section is explaining how some of the characters that we've read about fit into those heroic categories. I'd probably add in here a transition, possibly. I would add in here, I'm going to add a title into each section, or maybe a title at the very beginning, and I can choose from any of the titles that I want. I can write the text in there. I can have credits at the end if I want. I can do all those little things that I need to do. I can add, if there's something that I want to slow down, I can slow that section down. I can speed it up. I can freeze a section. I can adjust the volume of the system volume. I can apply some filters, which maybe I want to change the appearance of it quite a bit. I can do that. So I can play around with iMovie and do some of those things if I so choose. Now when I'm all done, I want to export it, and I click the export button, and I want to save this video, and it's going to save. I always want to choose the best one option to save it. I'm going to save this video, and this is my final product, which has everything that I've put together using multiple apps. And the next step after this, after I create this final product, will then be in my method of distributing it. And so that's the next thing I'm going to show you. Okay, so now that we've created our final our final product as a student, now we have to look at how we're going to use this, how we're going to share this with the teacher. And we're going to use one more app, and this app is called HP Reveal. Until recently, it was called Aurasma. In fact, I was looking for Aurasma on my iPad. I couldn't find it, and I said, what is this HP Reveal? And it is the old Aurasma app. Okay, so I go into HP Reveal, and I log in. I've already logged into my account, so it's going to take me right into mine. And it's going to look at the auras, and just you can see that I can see my auras that I've already created. But right now what I want to do is I want to create a new aura. And so I click the plus sign in the upper right hand corner. The first thing it does ask me to do is to take a photo. So I'm going to go back. If you remember at the very beginning, I had this picture of Superman that I found on the internet. Well, I sent it from my iPad to my desktop and printed it out so I could use it for this Aurasma. Okay, now I want to choose an overlay. And I'm going to pick from the device. I'm going to pick a movie that I've created. Okay, so I need to upload a movie from my photo album. And I'm going to select that movie that I just created today with the information about heroes. So this will take a minute to do. And I'll go ahead and upload it. Okay, that is the video that I want to use. And so I'm going to click on Use in the upper right hand corner. It's compressing the video and adding it to as an ARA or an overlay to this ARA with HP Reveal, otherwise known as Aurasma. And now I get to name the overlay. I'm just going to name it Hero. Now it tells me to position the overlay, so we're going to demonstrate it's recording right now. It's going to only turn the sound off right now. So I get to move it around and put that video exactly where I want it to be. Okay, so I'll choose that. I'll select next. I'm just going to make this Hero. Now I get to create a new channel, make it one of my public auras. As a teacher, I can create a class and have my students post to my class. I can add them to it, and I click submit. And so then this makes for a nice gallery walk in the classroom. I'm going to just make it private for right now. Okay, I can share it with my friends. If I click on share, and maybe the students can submit it this way, that they can send it to me through email or however I want to have them send it to me. And what happens now, I'm going to use the Aura, the app. I use my camera, and I take my iPad. When I'm not scanning the picture with my iPad, I don't have anything, but as soon as I put it over that picture, it just plays the video automatically. And so imagine post these images throughout the classroom, and then it's a gallery walk where students walk around and look at each other's presentations. You can walk around with your iPad and look at the presentations and see what the students have produced. And that is app smashing on the iPad. The other ecosystem that I want to demonstrate for smashing is the Chrome ecosystem. In this, Google Drive will work like the camera will. It is where you will store everything. Here you will curate images and video into a Google Drive folder. You can then smash them together. Think of Drive as your hub for pushing all content to and pulling all content from. We have a number of apps that we can use. We can use Canva to save items to Drive and to save images to Drive and then pull into slides. We can use Slides, HaikuDeck, Pixabay, or Drawings for images. Use Google Docs and ThingLink. We can use My Maps, which is, as far as I know, still turned off for students, so that's kind of not an option for right now. We can use YouTube or video for publishing. We can use WeVideo for creating a video, or Screencastify for doing the same thing. WeVideo does have some green screen features which are really cool. We can use Viewdit as well for publishing. Screencastify, Jing, and Nimbus can be used to combine elements. We can use Edpuzzle or Video Notes to import video into quiz or for reflection assignments, and allow those who view a video to provide feedback. So now those are some of the ways that we can app share using the Google environment. I'm going to do some demonstrations of how we do this. Okay, I'm going to use Google Sheets. Okay, I'm going to use Google Slides for this app share, but this could just as easily be done in Google Docs or in Google Sheets. And I've seen some really cool things done with Google Sheets as students have worked collaboratively on a spreadsheet together. But the purpose of this right now is we're going to do a reflection on a collaborative assignment, and that's done using the history. But first, because I do want this to be a reflection that is submitted to the teacher, it needs to be recorded. So I need to have an extension that is going to record me doing a reflection. Now, Screencastify is a really cool one that a lot of people have used, and I really like it. I just found a new one last week. It's called Loom, and it's a Google extension that you can install into your Chrome browser. So I'm going to use Google Loom to record, and it gives me some options. I can record the full desktop or the current tab only. I can actually include it in my picture. Hi, you can see me there as I'm recording this. I don't want to necessarily have my video in my presentation, so I'm going to not include that. So I'm going to just do screen only, get rid of the camera. I have a face for radio, so we won't do that to you anymore. I have my audio recording there, and I click on Start Recording, and it gives me a countdown. Now I am recording as I go, and so I've got my final presentation here, but I don't want to talk about the final presentation. I want to talk about the history and reflect upon the process of learning. So I click on that, and it takes me into the history. Now I'm going to go back as far as I can go into the base model that I was, and this was the base model before I had a group that was working on this document. Okay, and so you can see that I have these slides that are all templates and no contents in those slides at all. But I see I have a whole group of students. This was during a PD session that I was teaching a couple months ago. A whole group of students that was working on this. And so I want to choose that drop down here and go into a little bit more detail. That gives me more detail, so I can look and see that my first changes were made here at 6:31 on October 17th. And if I click on them, it will take me to the slide. I can see the slide here. There's purple, and I see on the right hand side that Rico is my individual who purple represents what he's done. I can talk about what Rico did. I can talk about what Markeisha did here as the orange represents her. And then at 6:34, just a few minutes later, I had a number of people working in that document, and I can see, look here, that Rico was putting in stuff about KWL with Padlet, and I can look here and see that Jen was working on providing information about Kahoot, and I can go through and look at what each individual in that group did, and I can do it chronologically, going from earliest to most recent, and talk about the edits and the contributions that each member of the group made, and as I'm reflecting, talk about how I did, how we worked together as a group. What contribution each person did, and how we collaborated, because I want to emphasize that collaboration with these 21st century skills. How did I collaborate? What did I learn from this experience? Not just about the content, but about the process and about myself and my ability to work with other students. And I can go through and look in more detail, and I would narrate my way through this. And I really think it's important that we have students reflecting. Talk about metacognition. We have to have students reflecting upon their learning and internalizing in that manner. And again, I really like that you can see what each person did and have each student explaining it. And it's really hard for them to, the history doesn't lie in the document. And so we can see who's done what and what they've each contributed to this learning experience. And I'm recording it using in this case Loom. And I can submit that recording of my reflection. I did this in about a minute and a half. I would want student reflections if it was a significant assignment. I want the student reflection to be probably 2 or 3 minutes long, and they can do that and talk their way through it and talk about what they learned. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end my app share here, and it's going to bring up my video as I go. Now I can submit this video as I can share it using a link. So I can copy this link and paste it into my Google Classroom assignment and submit that link, and so then my teacher has the video of me with my reflection. And I see it's a 2 minute 33-second video that I created. I can actually download the video if I like, if I needed to submit it somewhere else, if I needed to take it into another app to do some editing. Maybe I wasn't completely comfortable with just talking. One of the things about using the screencasting software is there's no editing involved. So what you see is what you get. You start talking. At the end you stop talking. You can't go through and edit the middle like I like to do, to take out all my ums and everything else that I find annoying when I'm listening to somebody's present. Okay, so that's the first part, is creating this presentation. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and download it because I want to upload it to my Google Drive to use that as my hub. One of the things that Screencastify does, which Loom does not do, is it will actually save it automatically to my Google Drive. Okay, so I've uploaded that video into my Google Drive. I have it here. I had to rename it as Loom Video Recording, and I'm going to hold on to it to use it in a few minutes. The next app that I want to use, so I've used Loom as an extension, and I've used my Google Slides reflection. All right, the next thing I want to do is I want to have an image, and I'm going to use Canva. You can find Canva at canva.com. I'm going to use Canva to create a design. Now I can, when I log in, and you can log in using your Google account, I can simply create a design. I can just select the layout and find an image that I like. Real easy to do. I'm going to go back to a design that I've already created because I want to use that one. I'm going to make a copy because I've used that one before, and use this image that I thought would be appropriate. Okay, so I put my text in there, but you can go and you can type text in. I can change that to share if I want, or whatever I want it to be. I'm going to keep it as smash. Have you ever wanted to smash your apps? And I am going to use this as my background image. So the next thing that I need to do is I need to download this. And if I click on download, the default is a PDF, but we don't want to download it as a PDF because we need an image file. So I would actually prefer to download it as a PNG file. And so I'll select that, and I'll go and download it. It takes a minute, and it's going to download this, and I'm going to use it in a few minutes with another portion of this app smashing. Okay, so I'm all done in Canva. I can get out of that tab. I can just close it. I'm going to go now to Google Slides, and I'm going to use Google Slides to create a little video presentation, and I'm going to use this again with Loom because it's really easy. Actually, I'm going to use it with Screencastify this time. So I'm going to use this with Screencastify because that stores things automatically into my Google Drive, whereas Loom makes me download it and then upload it. So the first thing I want to do now is create a green screen background. I want to have it nice and green because I'm going to use it as a background. I am not going to use these text boxes for this purpose today with what I'm doing right now. And then I need to add an image. Obviously I would use an image that was relevant for the instruction, but for today I'm just going to use a random image, and actually I want to use an animated GIF as my image. And so I go to my Google, and I have some saved in my Google Drive already. So I go to image here in the toolbar, and I get to find an image from my Google Drive. I inserted this image of me crying, and I'm going to just create a little short video of me crying, and I'm going to make it about 11 seconds long. Okay, so I'm going to go and close this sidebar here. And I go to my extension for Screencastify and I click on it, and it asks me if I want to record the tab, a desktop, or a camera, and the microphone. Now there's no system audio, so I don't need to worry about having that one checked. I'm going to record my desktop. Now what you didn't see pop up is because I have 3 desktops, actually it's going to ask me which one I want. I want to record screen 2.
3, 2.
It's counting down.
1.
Now I'm going to make this full screen and allow it to go for about 10 seconds to record that video. And I want to, on my other screen you can't see the button that says stop sharing, so I'm going to click on stop sharing. And it pops up as having been saved in my Google Drive. I can preview it. I'm going to make this and look at it and make sure it's exactly what I want. Okay, now I want to put everything together. Okay, now I want to combine my 2 videos here. And so I'm going to use the WeVideo app and log in using my Google account. And I have a paid account, but there are free accounts, so I'm going to create a new WeVideo. And I want to import some video. So I'm going to import this from my Google Drive. I'm going to allow WeVideo to have access to my Google Drive, and I want to go into my Screencastify and pull that one I just created today. And just bring that in, and I'm going to import the other video that I created as well. So I find that in my Google Drive and I import that, and I wait for both of those to upload. Okay, so the next thing I need to do now that my videos have uploaded is I need to bring my recordings down. I'm going to put my base, the background one, into the slot for video 1, and then this other video that I've created, which is the video of me crying, I'm going to move into video number 2 because I want that to appear on top of my other video. However, I still want to have my other video as a background. I want to use that green screen to just allow that picture of me crying to be in front of wherever it is in the video it needs to be in front of. Now to make that happen, I need to double click on it and go to the color keying tab, which is this little image, and so select my color. I choose this dropper tool, and then I just select this color, and it will actually mask if it will show image or show mask. Well, I don't want to show mask, that's what it will look like. I want to show the image. So you'll notice how it will put that image on top. I click on Done Editing. Now if I scroll through this and just hit the play button.
Represents what he's done. I can talk about what Rico did. What talk about what full screen did. Here to go from.
Okay, so there's audio on top of audio, and I need to go through and change that. But you can see how it puts the one image. It puts the one image on top of the other. So I'm going to have that as my final video, and make any other changes that I might want to make as a student, and then I need to finish the video. I'll name it my video 2, or I'll just name it Hero Smash for fun. Set that as a title, and where do I want to store it? I want it to go to my Google Drive, and I click on Finish, and it exports. Okay, so now I need to put everything together in the format that I want to submit it with, and I'm going to use ThingLink, available at thinglink.com, and you log in using your Google account, and I'm going to create a ThingLink that I can use to submit, and your students can do this as well. So I'm simply going to click on Create, and I want to upload an image. Now the image that I want to upload is that one that I downloaded earlier, which was that picture of the hammer. So I'm going to make this this image App Smashing. That's the name I'm going to give it, and I'm going to save that image. Okay. Now to add some tags, I'm just going to touch somewhere on the screen, and I get to add a tag. And now I need to embed those items that I have created earlier. So I'll need to go out and get some links and make sure that those links are available so that anyone with the link can view. The default when you create a link in your Google Drive in the district is that only people that are logged into their district's accounts can view. You want that link to be so that anyone can view. Okay, so I go into my video folder in my Google Drive, and I find that video I just created, and I want to get a shareable link, and I need to go to the sharing settings to make sure it says that anyone with the link can view it, and it does in this case, so I don't have to actually change it. So I copy that link, and I go back to my ThingLink, and I paste this link in, and it brings my video into making it available in my ThingLink. Now remember, this is the video that I created with me going through and narrating the changes that were made in the presentation, and inserted that overlay of me crying at a particular point, because that was obviously something negative that I wanted to highlight. Now I might want to, because this is all tied to that group project, I also want to embed that group project. So to do that, I'm going to go back to that project, and I no longer want to be in the history, but I want to get a published version. So I'm going to go to the file menu and publish to the web, and I want to have it as a link or embed. I want a link here, okay, and it won't give me a link yet because I haven't published it, so I have to click on publish, but I have some choices here. Restart slideshow as soon as the player loads, or restart the slideshow after the last slide. I can have a loop if I want, and I'll do that. Doesn't matter. And I click on publish. It asks me if I'm sure that I want to publish, and yes, I'm sure I want to publish it. So it does that, and now it gives me that link. I'm going to copy that link in here and take that back to my ThingLink page and add another one. So I put that in there. I have an address that I want to include. It recognizes that it's Google Drive. I'll include that. And so now I have 2 images saved into my thing link. I'm going to click on Save. And notice, if I click on this and I click on Read More, it will open up that video in another page.
Recording as I go. Yes. So,
Complete with my crying somewhere in that video. And if I look at the other link, it has the slideshow, and I can actually scroll through that slideshow and see everything. It's embedded right there in the presentation. So I've used a number of apps today to create an end product that has exactly all the material that I want, and it's something that you couldn't conceive of before. This was that previously inconceivable topic product that I talked about, and we able to do this through multiple apps. Now finally, I need to share this because I have to be able to turn this in. And so as the student, I want to copy this link, and that is the link that I would use to submit this thing link artifact with my other artifacts embedded into it to my teacher. And that is app smashing in the Chrome environment. Okay, thank you for your time and attention. I apologize that I went 90 seconds over our hour, but please take a second to complete the exit survey and reach out to me if you need any support. Again, my name is Mark Oakton. My contact information is on the screen. I hope you have a phenomenal day, and again, please reach out for any support. Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.